Okay, we are back with another highly requested video. You guys have been asking me to do an updated version of one of these for a little while now. So here we are. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is in full swing, and although the game may not be in the best of states, you guys want to know my controller settings. This is a controller settings video, but with a bit of a twist, right? So I am going to be showing you my controller settings, and I'm going to be teaching you guys and showing you guys why I have them the way I have them set up, right? Pay attention to what I'm doing here, okay? I'm also going to be teaching you guys a thing or two about your settings and how you can find your best controller settings. Yeah? Get where I'm going with this? Because there is a lot of viral clickbait videos out there that are very, very uneducational and very uninformative. Is that the right word? I think that's the right word. There are videos out there that are going to give you zero recoil. They are the best controller settings out there. This gives you aimbot-like aim. This gives you zero stick drift. Yeah? Okay? So I'm going to be teaching you guys a thing or two about that. I am also going to be going through and breaking down my Scuf Envision Pro software settings for the iCue software. This is a controller I use, Scuf Envision Pro. Great controller. I also use the Scuf Instinct Pro. So we'll be going through that as well. I've done one of these videos before. You guys absolutely loved it. You found it very educational. So we're doing another one, but I'm doing it a little bit more in depth, a little bit of a twist this time. So if you guys enjoyed the video, please do me a little favor. Don't forget to drop a little like. Don't forget to sub to the channel. Don't forget to turn on those bell notifications. You get notified every single damn time I upload a piece of content. And go live, because we do stream here on YouTube Shorts as well. And without further ado, for old time's sake, roll VT. Okay, so we are going to get straight into this. So, first of all, with the controller settings, my input device is set to controller, obviously. Being on a PC, I can still use my mouse and my keyboard. As you can see, this here is my controller, and this here is my mouse. Button layout, let me move this up for you guys, just so you can see this a little bit better. Button layout, I've got this set to tactical, which basically means my B and my melee swap. As you can see here on the right hand side, they swap around. I'll explain to you while I've done that. Basically, it allows me to keep my thumbs on my analog sticks without having to take them off. Now, if I need to use the B button, fortunately, using the Envision Pro, it has 4 buttons on the back, just like a lot of Pro controllers. So I can still use and access my B button without having to take my thumbs off my analog sticks and go over to the B. We do this for a reason. We want to keep our thumbs here all the time, as much as possible. You guys, if you play Claw and you don't have a Pro controller, then you can still access your action buttons, or you can still use your directional buttons. I occasionally play Claw if I need to. If I need to access my mini-map, I will occasionally do so by taking my index finger off of the back, my bumpers, for example. Okay, so next section, stick layout is set to default. Now, horizontal and vertical stick sensitivity. This is going to be individual for you guys, right? I will put the chart on screen now. This is the conversion chart that shows you the difference between the old settings and the new settings, or the old values and the new values, and what they mean. I have got mine set to 1.62. Now, I have played around with this a lot. This is what works best for me, okay? This gives me a good recoil control. It allows me to move my vertical, my horizontal, nice to the point where I can control it. Now, this may not work for you. This may be too sensitive, not sensitive enough. This may give you not enough range of movement. Previously on the last Call of Duty, I had my vertical and horizontal set to 1111, which is considered quite high for a controller player. My recoil control isn't the greatest, and the guys in my stream see this on a regular basis. This is what works for me. Have a play around with it. Fortunately, you can change these values and these numbers up incrementally. You can change them up step by step. Just play around with it, okay? I've had this at 1.62, didn't like it, dropped it to 164, 163, 162. This is what I'm set at the moment. Out of all the settings that I have on my PC for Call of Duty on Black Ops 6, the only 2 settings I change on a regular basis are my horizontal and my vertical, okay? Especially if I'm playing multiplayer. I find for some reason on multiplayer that this is too slow and I need to be able to move a little bit quicker. Where previously, for example, if I had it set to 7.7 on Bo6, on multiplayer, I'd go to 9.9 or 10.10, all right? This is individual. Copying someone's settings isn't going to work exactly the same for you as what it is for me, as what it is for somebody else. These settings are individual. A lot of this stuff is sort of copy and paste, but the specifics like horizontal and vertical stick sensitivity, this is going to be individual to you. This is going to be individual to your controller. Okay. Simplify controls off, low motor off, bumper pings off, LB and LT, or LB, RB and RT swap. Right. This is actually quite handy, right? If you don't have a pro controller where you can change your triggers, your LT and RT or L2 and R2 buttons to instant clicks and they are still full presses, right? Or like me, for example, that has got wear on my triggers. Like I said, I'm quite heavy-handed. I'm quite robust when I'm playing. And when I'm pressing a trigger, I like to press a trigger. I like to know I'm pressing it. If you're getting wear or the input delay is slightly longer, you can flip them around. So you use your R1, R2 or LB and RB, and it basically just flips those two around. And you'll find the response time for you ADSing and shooting when you use your bumpers rather than your triggers is a little bit quicker. Play around with it. It takes a minute to get used to, but play around with it. Okay, controller vibration. Have it turned off. You don't need it. It is an additional distraction in the game that, in my opinion, you don't need. You will see a lot of pro players, a lot of professional players, a lot of players that play full-time have controller vibration turned off, right? I go through this a little bit later on when I'm talking about the iCue software as well, as I've got it turned off in there. But if you're playing racing games or you want to have that sort of that tactile feel to the game when you're shooting, you want to feel the vibrations when you're getting hit, then you can turn it on. Right, breaking down Deadzone inputs. This is a real hot area, right? This is where a lot of people are saying you need to set this to 0 and this to 75 to give you the best aim, aimbot like aim. No, you don't. It doesn't work like that, right? This is individual to the person, to the controller. And I will try and explain this to you as best as possible. This is something that I have spent a little bit of time learning. And again, if I'm wrong, I'll hold my hands up to it. And if someone can, teach me a thing or two, then I'm happy to learn. But if you don't know about dead zones, then hopefully I can give you the information and give you guys the tools so you can learn something. Right. Your left stick minimum and your right stick minimum. Right, if you want to learn about stick drift and you want to learn about dead zone inputs, set these down to 0 and 0. Left stick and right stick down to 0 and 0. Go to the firing range, go to plunder, go to a private multiplayer match, go to where you can have a play around with your settings. If you want to learn if you've got stick drift, let's drop this down to 0, for example. All right, you want to learn if you've got stick drift, yeah, you will see over here on the right hand side, if I move my analog stick ever so slightly, it doesn't quite recenter itself. Yeah, see the little bits of input as it's getting? I'm moving that like ever so slightly. That is picking up an input, all right, on my control. I'm not moving my analog stick drastically like this. It is like ever so slightly. And if it recenters and gets stuck off to the left or to the right or whatever, for example, that is going to pick up an input and move my player. That's why you sometimes see your player going off like this. Or on the left-hand side, on the left stick, for example, let's drop that down. On the left stick, for example, you may see your player, as you guys can see on the screen here. It is picking up an input. It's not sitting on the recentered mark. That's where your player might start walking forward. So go to the firing range, go to plunder, go to a private match. Test this out until you are getting no stick drift. But there is a big caveat to that. If your stick drift is that drastic and your stick drift is that bad, and you get to the point where you have your right stick minimum set to 25, right? You can see this red area here. This red area, the dead zone, that is where your analog stick doesn't pick up an input. If you are having to set your dead zone up to this high, and I say having to set your dead zone up to this high, you can choose to do so. I don't personally see why you would. If you're having to do that, then it may be to the point where you maybe need to look at replacing your controller. Now, that also may not be an option for everybody. That may not be easy to do so. Controllers aren't cheap. They are quite expensive. Speak to the manufacturer, speak to customer services, reach out to these companies, speak to them, see what you can do. There may be an option for you to send the controller back to get a repair that might cost you a little bit less. Have a look at some of the payment options that are out there. Have a look for other creators that are sponsored and endorsed by these companies and see if you can get a creator code or get a little bit of a discount to you to get that controller that you want, right? That is just something to bear in mind. Okay, so let's break this down a little bit further. Let's put this all the way up to 50. Right. Now, This area here, this red section, all right, that is the dead zone. Okay, we've just explained that. I've just explained the dead zone. In this red area, I am moving my analog stick, yeah? I will make this a little bit bigger for you guys. I am moving my analog stick, yeah? It is not picking up that input. Now, for me to be able to move my analog stick all the way up to there, this is the area I have got left to aim, right? Which is very, very difficult to stay in that area. It's like trying to balance a football on the top of a pinhead. You've got very small margins of error, right? This is where your range of movement is now limited. Range of motion, I should say even, is now limited. For you to control this in this area is very, very difficult. That also means that the game isn't going to pick your input up, isn't going to pick up a movement until you're out of the dead zone. So, test it, play around with it. Don't listen to everybody you believe on the internet. Even this video here, you don't have to believe what I'm saying. I'm just trying to teach you guys and give you guys the tools to be able to take something away and go, oh, okay, Cruf said that. This is what I'm doing. Let's see if I can implement those settings over to me. That's what this video is about. Yeah, I have learnt my lessons. I've learnt from my mistakes. I've learnt from other people out there. I've taken pieces of information and applied them to my practice and what I'm doing. So I hope from anything you can take away from this video is you can take one piece away and go, okay, let me see if I can apply that to what I'm doing and how I'm doing things. So that's Dead Zone. If you guys have got any more questions, anything else you want to know about dead zones, please let me know. We're live pretty much every day, 6 days a week. Come and shoot me a message in my chat. Shoot me a message on one of my socials. I reply to all my comments on everything and anywhere. I most certainly try to anyway. So I will try and help you out as best I can. I absolutely will. If you want to have a look a little bit further, Google Deadzone Inputs. Have a little look at it. Do your research. If you really want to learn things about the game, do your research. All right, moving over to aiming. All right, sensitivity multiplier. Again, this is a bit of a hot one. Not everyone knows what this is. People just copy settings and not know what they are because people don't explain them. I'm going to explain what ADS sensitivity multiplier is. Right. When you are ADS'd, if you have this set to a 1-to-1, for example, that is giving you a 1-to-1 scale of ADS and non-ADS. If you have this set to, let's say, for example, 0.5, that is going to be half of what your non-ADS is. This will make you move slower whilst ADSing. But if we shoot this all the way up to 5, well, 4 is the maximum, you will spin on a dime, spin on a sixpence. You move incredibly fast when you're ADSing. You will move 4 times as fast as non-ADSing. So again, play around with it, see what works best for you. I've played around with it for a bit. I sometimes chop and change this. This can go up to maybe sometimes 0.98, can go up to 1, it can go down to 0.90. I change it every now and again, depending how I'm feeling, how I'm playing, how my controller is faring up. Play around with it, see what works for you. All right, moving over to Look Inversion. I've got that set to standard. Aim advanced settings. Look Inversion, this is all set to standard. I don't think I've changed this. ADS sensitivity transition timing, I've got that set to instant. Some people have got it set to gradual. Some people have got it set to instant. Again, this is what works best for me. It gives me that instant timing. Sensitivity multiplier is applied immediately when aiming down sights. Gradual sensitivity multiplier is progressively applied when alternating between hip fire to fully zoomed in. So play around, see which one works for you. Third person ADS correction type is set to assist. I don't think I've ever changed that. Aim response curve type. Right, I currently am running at dynamic. Ideal for more experienced players. Fast starting movement and then slows down at the aiming rate. Reverse S curve mapping. And then standard, ideal for new players, slowly starting the movement and then speeds up over the aiming rate. Power curve map for aim stick to aim rate. A lot of people are using dynamic. It's what works for me. Again, standard may work for you. I don't see many people running at linear. Again, play around with them, see what works for you. And again, my aim response curve slope scale. I can never say that right in a sentence, but we got that one right first time. Got mine set to 0.98 at the minute. Again, I've taken a minute to sort of play around with these settings. This is why I haven't done one of these videos straight away, because I wanted to make sure that I'm going to get the settings that I feel could be best suited or tailored for you and how I am happy to put them out and how I'm happy running them. The settings that I've got at the moment, I'm very happy how they are. Again, we've spoken about some of the things that I chop and change every now and again. This is what's working for me at the minute, 0.98. All right. Custom sensitivity per zoom is set to off. I don't have it on. Target aim assist. Right. Let's go big screen for this one. Target aim assist and ADS aim assist. Turn it on. We're controller players. Yeah, let's have it right. Turn it on. I am too old and too ugly. Well, I say ugly. I'm too old, yeah, to have it off. I don't need to play mouse and keyboard. I've tried it. My chat asks me all the time. The community asks me all the time. Hey, Croft, do mouse and keyboard. Why don't you play mouse and keyboard? Listen, mate, I'm too old. I don't have the dexterity. Yeah, I've got good hands and my fingers are good with a controller. Mouse and keyboard, different kettle of fish, mate. The things that these guys can do on mouse and keyboard, disgusting. So if I get a little bit of aim assist because I'm using a controller, so be it. Come at me in the comments. I don't care. I don't think it's busted. I don't think it's overpowered. No. You can abuse it, but I see very little people. I think there's a small percentage of pro players out there that know how to really abuse aim assist. I don't think it's busted. I really, really don't. And how the server tick rates are and how inconsistent TTKs are and how inconsistent the game is, the fact that we get aim assist, I think is the least of our concerns and everybody else's concerns for that matter. So that's my take on aim assist. You don't like it, then, well, see you later. Right, motion sensor behavior, I've got it set to off. We did go through the advanced settings a little while ago. I believe I had FOV sensitivity scaling turned on. This was something that I looked at from Zyro posted a video. I think this was back in 2023, 2024 now. Zyro posted a video and they broke this down a little bit. One of his guys had a look into the motion sensor advanced settings and they found out by turning the FOV sensitivity scaling turned on, allowed the gameplay to be better. I done this in my last video. I don't know exactly what it does, but it did make an improvement. I haven't turned it on yet. I don't know why. I think I maybe forgot about it or I lost it. I haven't turned it back on. So this may be something that in the future I have turned on. I don't know, but we'll play around with it. I'll report back to you guys. You want to check in with me in a month's time when the updates come out, please feel free to do so. All right, going over to movement and combat. This is a little bit more in depth. This is a little bit more thorough. I will try and go over these as best as possible without, you know, losing ourselves in them, because there is a lot of settings in there. I don't know why Call of Duty, I don't know why they done this for Bo6. They messed up all the settings. They made everything way more than what they needed to, when I feel like the settings we had in the last COD were absolutely fine. Anyway, moving on. Here we go, getting into the first bit. Sprint assist, mine is tactical sprint assist. Sprint delay is set to 0. Some people have got this set to 1, 99, 25, I don't know. 0's working for me. I guess I want the minimal, the smallest amount of delay, would make sense. Sprint assist sideways, sprint assist backwards. Yes, I've got that on. Man assist off, crouch assist is off, and corner slicing is off. If you guys don't know what corner slicing is, if you see people tilting to the side when they're ADSing, that is corner slicing. Me personally, I don't feel like that needs to be added into the game. You would only slice a corner in real life if you are looking around a corner while shouldering a rifle, right? And you're slicing your pie if you're entering into a room, yeah, and all that good stuff. It's not needed in the game. I feel like it's something that's been added. It's just completely unnecessary. Slide dive behavior. I've got mine to tap to slide. Again, this is what's working for me at the moment. Obviously, Omni movement is very big. I may turn this to slide only, because occasionally I will go into a rear dive animation or a sideward dive animation. I find it very frustrating, very annoying. I have it to tap to slide, as the slide is then prioritized over the dive. For me to dive, I hold. I don't know. This is something I may change, to be honest with you. Check in and again in a couple of weeks, couple of months, and see how we're getting on with this. If I need to put another one of these videos out there, make a slightly shorter one, then I will do so. If I need to break this down further on what my takeaway from it is, then I will. But for the minute, I'm tapped to slide. All right. The delay between it is set to short. Automatic airborne mantle is set to on. So is sprint restore and slide maintain sprint. I would absolutely have these on. Automatic parachute is set to off. But for whatever reason, to be honest, I probably need it on just for full damage purposes. Mountaineer is not in the game anymore. So, well, they're bringing it back, but hey ho. my character, my player pulls a parachute out if I'm jumping off of a curb, down a set of ladders, off some stairs, off of a ledge, on scaffolding, at prison, at Rebirth. I don't know why it does it. It does it all the time. It's absolutely busted. I really hope they fix it, but it's set off. All right. Mantle cancels reload. I've got that set off as well. All right, let's go into the movement advanced settings. Sprint tactical sprint behavior is set to toggle. Auto move forward is off, obviously. Auto door peek is also off. I don't want that on. Tactical sprint activation is single tap sprint. Plunge underwater is set to free. I have it set to free so that I can control it more rather than the game, although it does come with a caveat. Occasionally when you're bobbing on top of the surface, it most certainly used to do so a lot in the previous game. Not so much now because I don't spend too much time in the water. We're not on Vondel and things like that. So it doesn't really matter, but occasionally you would ADS when you're up and it may drop you back down. So, you know, it's a little bit of a kink. Sprint door bash, it's on. I think it's a pointless thing in the game because of the animation. Excuse me, the animation. I don't like the animation. I think it adds an element to the game that we don't need, but hey-ho. Vehicle advanced settings. I'm pretty sure these are set to standard, really. Driver control, aim-based control, short delay, free lock, mantle, finishing move, or body shield. I'm pretty sure they're set to standard. I don't think I've ever touched them. All right, going over to the combat settings. This is a little bit more thorough. All right, so ADS sight behavior is set to hold. Tac stance behavior is on toggle, and tac stance activation is ADS and down. I don't know why we've got tac stance in the game. I think it's completely pointless, in my honest opinion. I said this before. I'll say it again. Why do we need to tac stance a gun? Other than the fact it allows some guns to be way overpowered because the grouping is slightly tighter than hip spread, but slightly wider than ADS. I don't know. I find it really, really, really pointless. It's never been nerfed, tac stance, but hey-ho. Be the boy that cried wolf over him. Weapon mount activation is ADS to melee. You can change this to something else if you want. Me personally, I've got it set to melee because then I, whilst I'm ADSing and I'm mounted on a target, I can just press my B and come away from it rather than double tap. Do you know what I mean? I feel like that works best. Dedicated melee weapon activation. Yeah, I've got it set to hold. If you guys want, if you're running and you want to get a slight movement increase, pull out your melee. It's set to hold rather than weapon cycle. Again, it's what works for me. Body shield, prioritizing finisher move. Don't know why we got body shield in the game. Again, I think it's pointless other than people making silly videos on the internet. Some sussy type stuff. Again, not going to get into that. I just don't think it needs to be in the game. Weapon plate behavior. This is a bit of a hot one. Some people really don't like that I do this. A lot of people have it set to apply all. I have mine set to apply one just so that I'm in control of it. Although occasionally Call of Duty will throw you a curveball and just leave you in a plating animation for about 10 minutes. Again, I've got it set to just apply one. C4 is all at once, although I don't use C4s. They've not been OP since Verdansk, so it doesn't really matter. Equipment behavior is hold. Manual fire is set to press rather than hold. Combat advanced settings. Change zoom activation. Sprint, tactical sprint, and focus. I'm pretty sure that's the same. I don't think I've ever changed that, really. Weapon mount exit is short delay over instant. I think instant didn't work for me. I didn't like it, so I went over to short delay. Tap to interact. Priorities interact is interact and reload behavior is set to prioritize my interact. I want my interactions to be prioritized over a reload. I don't want to press X on a floor to pick up a weapon and I'm stood there reloading a gun that I've got in my hand. No, I want to prioritize my interaction. Sprint cancels reload. Absolutely not. I do not want that on. Akimbo behavior, I've got it set to independent rather than paired, although I don't use akimbo, so it doesn't really matter. ADS stick swap, no, and depleted ammo weapon swap. Make sure you turn that one off, guys. Please 100% turn that off. You do not want to be swapping your gun when you've run out of ammo. That should be down to you, the player, to control what your character does, so turn that off. All right. Overlay settings. That's set to toggle. I think that's been the same. Now, my advanced overlay settings, this has been really irritating for me. This is something that really, really bugs me. I had this set at a real nice spot in the previous Call of Duty. Occasionally, if I'm using, because on my controller, I don't know if you guys can see this, on the side here with the Envision Pro, we have an additional 2 buttons. They're S buttons. I have my right one set to ping. so that if and when I'm shooting and I'm ADSing, I can tap that on the side with my hand and it will ping the person I'm shooting at, although the pings are a little bit busted in this game. The previous Call of Duty, it was set absolutely perfectly. In this one, for whatever reason, if I press that occasionally, it'll bring up the whole ping wheel and tell me to hold, regroup here, and some stuff like that. Again, it's not needed in the game, unless you guys aren't running comms, and I suppose it could work, but it's just, I don't know. This is how I've got it set at the minute, so that it doesn't come up all the time, because when I set the settings how I previously had them, it wouldn't let me use score streaks. So if you guys have got a score streak bug where you can't use your UAVs or precision airstrikes, again, another bug added into the game, maybe look at trying one of these. I don't like this setting, to be honest with you. I don't like the delay between it. I don't like the fact that I've got the other overlays on. I used to previously have ping and danger ping, and that was all I had that worked. And now we've got all of this in. Again, I don't know. Right, so that is pretty much it for the controller settings. I'm going to go through the iCue software settings now. If you guys ever want me to go through my graphic settings, my audio settings, interface, or like how I have my mini-map set up, please feel free to let me know. Just drop me a comment down below if that's something you want to see me do. Now, in terms of my graphic settings, now I just want to put this out there. I am not sponsored by these guys. I do not get paid to do this. This is just something that I am doing for me. I endorse companies that I support and that I recommend. So I've had my PC tuned and optimized by Tomo the Techie over on Twitter. I'll put it down below in the description. I've done it in the previous video. These guys are absolutely fantastic. They are the best PC optimizers out there. A ton of pro players use them. They are fantastic. They've got a couple of tier packages. If you want your PC tuned, if you feel like your PC isn't getting its fullest capability, then these guys can help you do so. They will book you in, give you an assessment, and they'll tune your PC. It's completely safe, absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I didn't know a lot about it before until I started speaking to these guys, and they completely reassured me everything is fine. With that, you also can get a config file, which is you're absolutely allowed to do so. That basically just tunes my graphic settings for me on the game for how I need them to be, so I can get the most amount of FPS whilst I'm gaming and streaming. I'm running a single rig PC, like a lot of people are, so I don't get tons of FPS. Bear in mind, when I'm streaming, I'm gaming and streaming off the same PC, so I need to try and get out of my PC the best I can. I went over to those guys. Those guys have been able to do so for me, and they've helped me out an absolute bunch. They're geniuses. Honestly, I tell you, these guys are like proper giga nerd genius techies. So check them out. They'll be down below in the description. You can check them out on Twitter. Join their Discord. They're absolutely fantastic. I seriously, they really are. So if you want me to go through my graphic settings, audio settings, interface settings at a later date, please let me know. I'm happy to do one of these videos again. Not a problem. Right, let's get into the iCue software. So this is, I'm going to make this nice and big for you guys. I'll put this down here so you can see. I might have to move this in a second. So this is the iCue software that comes with the Scuf Envision Pro. I need to put this out there, right? This is an absolutely fantastic controller. It is. I love the Envision Pro. I believe the version 2 will be better. As you can see, I've got a nice handprint on my controller. Yeah, I use my controller a lot. I'm quite heavy-handed, like a lot of people are. I'm no young buck with a delicate touch. No, I'm not a delicate touch at all. If I'm holding my controller, I'm holding my controller. And for the hours that I play, it wears off on these controllers, unfortunately. This is the first iteration of the Envision Pro. I can't wait to see what the version 2 looks like. I'm hoping for a little bit more robustness, something that gives it a little bit more longevity, slightly stronger analog sticks, so maybe some stronger P buttons on the back of the controller and some triggers. Everything else other than that with the controller is fantastic. It really is a great controller. But the iCue software has bugs. It has issues occasionally. I'm not knocking it completely. It just there is room for improvement with it. There really is. So this controller is fantastic. Sorry, let me move that back down here. This controller is fantastic. This is more designed. This is a PC controller only, by the way. You can't use this on PlayStation or Xbox. This is PC only. And I can break that down a little bit further if you guys want to know why. This allows me, okay, to be able to mute my game, mute my music, push to talk for my prox chat when I'm playing the game if I want to speak to people on prox comms. I don't always have open mic, sometimes I do. Or if I want to mute my Discord, for example. So it allows me to have an additional buttons. This is fantastic if you're a streamer. You've also got a profile mapping button here. You can press this and change your profiles if you've got a Fortnite setting or a Forza setting or a FIFA setting. I don't know. And obviously you can turn it on and off. You can do this wireless or have it wired. I choose to have it wired so it minimizes any input delays. Also, on the side of the controller, you can see here on the left-hand side and on the right-hand side, there is 2 S keys. That is what I was talking about on the inside of my palms. My right one is set to ping, and my left one is set to prone dive. All right. I set these with a hotkey through Call of Duty and then through here on my settings. I can map one of these here, for example. Let's just map this one. And then it will bring up my keyboard and I can set this to whatever I like. It's really, really cool. Really, really like this controller. I can also change my own profiles of my analog sticks. You can choose my Deadzone inputs. I have these set to 2.2 here, so then I can change them in the game. All right, you can change this to dynamic, linear, exponential, aggressive, or custom. If you want to create a funky little pattern or however you want it to be, you can do so. All right. You can also change your triggers here. Sadly, as you can see on the right-hand side here, this black area here is the dead zone. On here it is marked in black. Sadly, I've had to increase my dead zone slightly on the triggers just because for the hours that I play and for how robust the controller is, it is causing some wear on the trigger. I have spoken to Scuf. I'm waiting for them to come back to me so we can get this rectified. If I've ever had an issue with Scuf, and this is something I will say, I endorse the company massively. I'm a huge fan of Scuf. I have used other controllers in the past. I'm not going to name names, but I will never in a million years go back to them. The customer services were shocking, and so was the controller. Scuf's customer service, hands down, is by far the best out there. These guys are fantastic. And that is why some of the best controller players in the world are sponsored and endorsed by Scuf. They are great. I promise you they are fantastic. And if you want one, go and search the internet. Go and find a creator that's got a discount. You know, they're out there for a reason. Get yourself some money off. Save yourself some money. Check out Amazon. There's always deals on Amazon for Scuf controllers. So, sadly, I've had to increase my Deadzone input slightly on my triggers. Vibration, like I said, I've got that turned off, guys. I don't want it. I don't need it on. If I choose to have this on, if I'm playing a racing game or I want to rev the engine, then I can turn it on if I want to have that little bit of an input. But, yeah, that is pretty much it for the controller settings, really. I believe I've pretty much covered everything. If there's something that I've missed out, or you guys think I need to change something for a specific reason, or you think I'm using the wrong setting for a specific reason, I'm all ears. They're big enough. Please let me know in the comments. Please shoot me a message. Like I said, we're live over on Twitch, twitch.tv/CrawfWado13. You'll see me there 6 days a week. We're up on all the socials. All my name on all my social media platforms are all exactly the same. CrawfWado13, or Crawf, most people call me. I've said before, I'll answer to Susan if it makes you happy. But that is pretty much it for my up-to-date controller settings video. Like I said, this one's going to be a little bit more in-depth. Appreciate you guys if you've stuck around to the end. If you've enjoyed the video, please do me a massive favor. Don't forget to drop a little like. Don't forget to sub to the channel. Don't forget to turn on those bell notifications to get notified every single damn time we upload a piece of content and go live. And I guess until the next one, I'll see you later.